On the news, Senate postpones passage of 2022 budget. Gender equality bill suffers setback in Senate. And 3 judges barred from promotion for granting conflicting orders. Many thanks for joining us on News Now. I am Folashade Ogurinde. The Senate has postponed the date for the passage of the 2022 budget till Tuesday, December 21st. Chairman of the Senate Committee on Appropriation, Barau Jibrin, disclosed this on Wednesday in Abuja. Speaking with journalists, Jibrin explained that this was to give room for preparations of the 2022 National Population Council and the 2023 general elections. President Buhari, who had presented the 2021 16.39 trillion naira appropriations bill before the National Assembly, had described it as a budget of economic growth and sustainability. For the third time since 2016, the Gender and Equal Opportunity Bill has suffered another setback at the upper chamber. The sponsor of the bill, Biodun Olujimi, was forced to step down the bill after some senators raised concerns over possible infringement on the morals of some religion. The bill seeks to align all aspects of law and implementation of laws relating to women empowerment. It was also designed to address issues on the appointment and representation of women in decision-making positions and structures. Our correspondent, Anita Patrick, tells us more in this report.
All efforts to ensure the passage of the Gender and Equal Opportunity Bill came to a halt at plenary on Wednesday. Like every other reading, the sponsor of the bill, Senator Biodun Olujimi, took time to highlight some provisions of the bills. She said the legislation seeks to eliminate all forms of discrimination against women.
This bill will provide a legal basis and foundation upon which there will be formal, structured and institutional responses to prevent discrimination and provide for the rights of men and women.
The bill was, however, rejected by some male lawmakers who argued that the Nigerian constitution was clear on rights of citizens, including women. While Oluremi Tinubu, James Manager and Estefanos Gang spoke in support of the bill, Yusuf said otherwise. Their arguments against it, just like what they canvassed in the 8th Senate, was that it would offend the sensibilities of a certain religion and make it unimplementable in some parts of the country.
We can look at the way we can get, justice for the vulnerable. We are ready to dialogue, but this is the time and age that this bill has to come to light.
I want to urge that we allow this bill to pass through the second reading, unlike what it happened the last time when it was killed at this stage. By so doing, then we will have moved one step forward.
I therefore want to canvass very strongly that we support the passage of this bill so that the rights, liberties and opportunities will not just be for males but for females, so that every woman will not only be entitled but will actually enjoy these rights that are inalienable.
I will not support the passage of this unless until the word equal is removed. If we now have debate on the Gender Opportunities Bill, fine, but when you bring equality into it, it infringes into the practice of Islamic religion.
The developments degenerated into a heated debate, and the majority opinion, including that of the Senate President Ahmed Lawal, was that the sponsor should consult widely and present the bill again after removing areas of serious concerns raised by the lawmakers.
Let's address the concerns of our colleagues here, because if some of our colleagues are saying this is the way they think we should go, and it doesn't reduce anything from the bill, then I will advise that we toe that line. But if we feel, well, it has to remain the way it is and it should pass, I'm not sure if that will be the best approach to it.
Olujimi noted that she actually consulted widely before she came up with the bill again in the 9th Senate and expressed surprise with the turn of events. The Senate, however, asked that sponsor of the bill to go back and ensure all concerns raised by opposing senators are addressed before it then read for the second time. Ani Patrick, TV360, Abuja.
3 judges of courts who granted conflicting expertise others have been barred from promotion to higher bench for a period ranging from 2 to 5 years. The National Judicial Council took the decision following its 2-day meeting held on December 14 and 15 in Abuja, the nation's capital. In a statement issued on Thursday, the NJSC's Director of Information, Sojioye, said even though there is no written petition, allegations of corruption or impropriety against the affected judges, the Council nevertheless initiated investigation. The National Judicial Council rose from its 2-day meeting with a resolution to bar the 3 judges of courts of concurrent jurisdiction who granted conflicting expertise others in matters with the same parties and subject matter. The issue of the welfare of police officers has been a constant source of concern to Nigerians and became one of the focal points of the #EndSARS protest in 2020. Upon assumption into office in April 2021, the Inspector General of Police Usman Alkali Baba highlighted the need to improve the welfare of officers. All these have yielded results with the latest decision by the Federal Executive Council to review and upgrade the salary of police officers by 20% to take effect from January 2022. Our correspondent Mary Kanu now reports.
The Federal Executive Council has approved the review of police salaries. The Minister of Police Affairs, Megari Dingyadi, says the approval includes a review of shift allowance, one of the 5 demands by protesters during the October 2020 EndSARS protests.
The Federal Executive Council, under the chairmanship of Mr. President, has approved the review and the upgrading of the take-home pay of police personnel in this country. The salary of police officers will be reviewed, will be improved to enhance their take-home pay in recognition of the services they have been rendering to this country in the areas of maintenance of peace and tranquility.
For the Minister of Police Affairs, the optimism is huge, particularly when viewed through the lens of the salaries of other officers in neighboring countries. In Ghana, for instance, a police constable earns the equivalent of 200,000 naira averagely per month against his counterpart in Nigeria, who earns just 50,000 naira.
Council has also approved the payment of the sum of 1 billion, let me say 1.2 billion as payment for payment as outstanding burial expenses of personnel of the period of January 2012 to 2021.
Meanwhile, on her part, Minister of Finance Zainab Ahmed has revealed the sum of $1.9 billion was approved for the procurement of equipment meant to boost Nigeria's power supply from 5,000 to 7,000 megawatts.
So the objective, of course, of the PPI project is to modernize and upgrade power transmission and distribution infrastructure in Nigeria. The total cost of the procurement is in the sum of 62,949,447 euros, with a delivery period of 18 months, 12 to 18 months.
To embolden young entrepreneurs to possess relevant skills and encourage them to transact business in the telecommunications sector, the Minister of Communication and Digital Economy also revealed FEC approved the Nigeria Startup Bill to provide a conducive environment for entrepreneurs.
The bill will establish the National Council for Digital Innovation and Entrepreneurship. The bill also addresses startup labeling process, where a startup is going to be labeled, and after that, there is eligibility for grant. If a startup is looking for government grant, there is a process to follow, which is very easy, and at the end, government will be able to provide the grant.
The Federal Executive Council meeting, which was chaired by President Muhammadu Buhari, resumed at the newly renovated Council chamber, which was closed since April 2021 for upgrade with funds from the Central Bank of Nigeria. Mary Kanu, TV360, Nigeria.
The House of Representatives says it has resolved to investigate what it termed unnecessary and outrageous charges imposed on medical and dental graduates by the Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria as a prerequisite before they are allowed to undertake their 6-month mandatory attachment program in the country. It also resolved to investigate the non-functional national primary healthcare centers across the country. Both motions were sponsored by Solomon Maren and Sergius Ogun from Plateau and Edo states respectively. The House also mandated its Committee on Healthcare Services to investigate the matter and report back within 4 weeks for further legislative action.
The House also notes that the federal government flagged off the primary healthcare centers revitalization program in 2017 to refurbish primary healthcare centers and establish at least one functional center in each senatorial district of the country. The House is concerned that despite the revitalization program, only less than 20% of the 30,000 primary healthcare centers in the country are in good working condition, while others are either completely grounded or ineffective in the delivery of primary healthcare services. How results to 1. Mandate the Committee on Healthcare Services to investigate the non-functionality of the national primary healthcare centers in the country and report back within 4 weeks for further legislative action. Mr. Speaker, I so move.
Moving on, 21 senators elected on the platform of the All Progressives Congress, APC, have shown support to Senator Opeyemi Bamidele in his bid as the next governor of Ekiti State. The senators accompanied the aspirant to pick the nomination form for the Ekiti State governorship election scheduled to hold in July 2022 at the party's National Secretariat in Abuja. Addressing newsmen, Bamidele said he knows Ekiti State and understands the needs of the people.
I have come to the National Secretariat of our party, the All Progressives Congress, to obtain the nomination form of our party for the governorship election that is slated to hold in Ekiti State on the 22nd of January 2022. Gentlemen of the press, I am in this race because I am truly convinced that no man owns himself to himself alone. But by my own philosophy, I believe that I have got what it takes to lead a state like Ekiti in a time like this, when everyone who has a scientific understanding of what is wrong and what is to be done needs to come forward to present himself to the people. And I'm not contesting this election because I believe I'm the only one who can add value in Ekiti State. His Excellency Dr. John Kayode Fayemi and his administration has done so well and so much for Ekiti State. And I believe that administration deserves to have a worthy and well-focused successor.
Civil society organizations in Nigeria have been lauded for their roles in creating awareness about the dangers of irregular migration, advocacy against trafficking, and capacity building on migration issues. The Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadiya Umar Farouk, made the commendation at the Civil Society Day of the 2021 National Migration Dialogue in Abuja. Represented by Fatima Waziri Azi, the Director General of the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, Farouk, however, urged the organizations to make the most of the opportunity for a better migration engagement.
CSOs in the migration field have proven to be one of such partners to reckon with. They have provided critical perspectives to issues as they participate both in policy formulation, implementation, and review of processes. As you all celebrate your first ever Civil Society Day within the National Migration Dialogue, I enjoy you to make good use of this opportunity in making your presence in the national migration governance.
CSOs on migration readiness to take up this duty to provide recommendations for the sustainability of migration activities emanates from our desires to complement the activities of government and international partners for sustainable effects. We have been trained, we have been working on the field, we have gained experiences, we have learned from best practices. Now we are ready to promote innovation, efficiency, and improvement in actualizing a better and sustainable migration governance in Nigeria.
We have been able to implement a number of projects towards this objective. And I'm happy that some members of CSOs under a different network, NACTA, who is also a member of the ETISON project, the Nigerian Immigration Service, and the Nigerian Police Force, all partners under this project are here present.
We'll take a break here, but still to come, Nigeria's COVID-19 cases hit all new high with 1,424 new infections. Details of the story and more right after this break. Glad to have you back now. Here is a recap of some of our top stories tonight. The Senate has shifted the date for the passage of the 2022 budget until Tuesday, December 21st. Senate President Ahmed Lawan announced this, as well as the chairman of the Senate Committee on Appropriations, Barau Jibrin, who disclosed this also on Wednesday in Abuja. Speaking with journalists, Jibrin explained that this was to give room for preparations of the 2022 National Population Council and the 2023 general elections. We also told you that for the third time since 2016, the Gender and Equal Opportunity Bill has suffered another setback at the upper chamber. The sponsor of the bill, Biodun Olujimi, was forced to step down the bill after some senators raised concerns over possible infringement on the morals of some religions. The bill seeks to align all aspects of law and implementation of laws relating to women empowerment and was also designed to address issues of the appointment and representation of women in decision-making, positions and structures. But in case you missed any of our news bulletin or for more updates, do log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube and Google Plus at TV360 Nigeria. On Facebook, we are at TV360 Online. Nigeria for the first time crossed over 1,000 new daily infection marks on Wednesday, with a total of 1,424 new cases. The Nigeria Center for Disease Control (NCDC) disclosed this on Wednesday night, revealing the new infections were recorded across 14 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory (FCT). Maintaining its position as the country's epicenter of the pandemic, Lagos State topped the infection chart with 796 cases, while Delta State recorded 152 infections, and the FCT came third with 130 cases. The new infection figure, which ranks the highest daily tally since the surge in cases, has increased Nigeria's infection total to 220,020. Meanwhile, no new death was recorded from the pandemic, leaving the fatality toll at 2,983. The World Bank on Thursday announced that the global community has stepped up with $93 billion support package to boost resilience recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic in the world's poorest countries. The bank explained that the replenishment package of the International Development Association (IDA) is to help low-income countries respond to the COVID-19 crisis and build a greener, more resilient and inclusive future. Africa will receive about 70% of the funding, as the IDA says it will help over 400 million people receive essential health and nutrition resources. According to the bank, the financing brings together $23.5 billion of contributions from 48 high and middle-income countries, with financing raised in the capital markets. Well, up next is business stories right after this break.
In the last 3 years, we have built a multi-purpose center, which is the envy of all in our constituency. And I can tell you that the people who are living there are already enjoying it.
Guy, do you think what this man just said is true? See, I seriously doubt. I'm sure it's one of those their silly lies.
And wait, do you know there's a way to find out if these things he's saying is true or not? This is the Construct app. It gives people like us a sure way to track implementation of constituency projects. It gives valid and verified information on location of projects, amounts allocated, amount funded, the level of job done, and even the profiles of concerned legislators. You and I can post directly on this app.
Are you serious?
This is the Go-To app if you want to know how our Commonwealth is being expanded by the government.
Wow. Let's even see if what this man said is true. Show me.
The Construct app is developed by Other People Nigeria with support from USAID and is available on both Google Play Store and Apple Store.
And it's true.
Of course, I told you.
Well, up next is business news with Abisola Adebayo. Over to you, Bisola.
Thank you very much, Folashade. Welcome to Business News. The South Korean government has announced a grant of over $12 million to the Nigerian government for the building of solar energy electricity generation in the country. The South Korean ambassador to Nigeria, Kim Yong-che, made this known during an interactive session with the Senate Committee on Power in Abuja. The chairman of Senate Committee on Power, Gabriel Suswam, however, sought clarification on the details of the proposal. Suswam told the ambassador that Nigeria has 6 geopolitical zones. I would expect the reconsideration of the project plan by citing each in a geopolitical zone of the country.
We want to understand from you, this is supposed to be a grant, it's not a loan. One, the Korean companies are also the companies that are going to carry out this project. From your letter, it was indicated that you were going to spread this across the entire country. But in the same letter also we learned that this mini grid are only going to be in Abuja. There are critical areas where if we put this mini grid, they will be more impactful to the country than concentrating all of them in Abuja. So in all of this, we want to know from you how this is going to be carried out.
We decided to fund this project. This is true, Mr. Chairman, this is a grant. This is not a loan. So this project, this mini grid project is funded by a Korean government grant type of ODA. So Nigerian government does not need to repay.
We'll take a break now and return with a review of the stock market. It's the 4th trading day of the week and the bear returned, not giving the bull a chance to shine again, and this moved about 49 billion naira from the market capitalization. Apparently, the all-share index closed at 42,270 basis points, while the market capitalization at the close of trading today stood at 22.056 trillion naira. Drivers of Thursday's retreat were broad with stocks as diverse as agri company, livestock, and real estate giant UPDC dominantly triggering the loss, which is why they led our losers table for today. But it was financial services equities that took the most heat, coming from selling pressure on banking and insurance shares, which ranked them on the bottom of performance. Moving on to our top gainers for today. On the flip side, Royalex and Champs led the gainers counter as they both recorded a combined 4 naira increase. Let's take a look at activity charts. Our market summary sees a total volume of 249 million units of shares valued at over 3 billion naira, exchanging hands in 3,578 deals. Well, that's quite a dramatic turn in the market today, but let's wait and see if we can get a Santa Claus rally. On the foreign scene, that's our FTSE, the Dow Jones and the Nikkei. They are all in the positive territory. The FTSE is suddenly in the green after the Bank of England's surprise decision to hike interest rates for the first time since the pandemic struck. The Dow Jones is also rising after the Federal Reserve announced a faster wind down of its pandemic-era stimulus, calming nerves around surging price pressures. The Japan stocks Nikkei, also in that note, increased by 2.13% at the close of trading. That's all on Stock Market Review. Over to Folashade for the rest of the news.
Well, many thanks, Bisola, for that update. Now, on the foreign scene, tensions have risen in the Libyan capital, Tripoli, after armed groups mobilized in several districts ahead of next week's presidential election. Armed men surrounded the Prime Minister's office for several hours following the dismissal of a military commander. There is still uncertainty over whether the presidential vote, due on December 24th, will actually take place. The election is a key element of a UN-backed plan to try to bring political stability to Libya after a decade of unrest. And now to the sporting scene. Interim coach of the Super Eagles, Austin Eguavoin, has said the senior national team can lift the 2021 African Cup of Nations regardless of the time frame left for them to prepare. Eguavoin, who made this known in an interview, said he is optimistic of Nigeria's chances at the tournament in Cameroon. The three-time African champions are pitted alongside Egypt, Guinea-Bissau and Sudan in Group D, with the team facing the Pharaohs in the opening game on January 11. And it's a wrap on our news bulletin. Many thanks for watching. I am Folashade of Green Day. Bye for now.